Welcome, everyone. Today we're joined by Susan Youhn, President of the Society for Women in the Civil War. Thank you for joining me, Susan.
Good to be here.
Please tell us something of your background, where you grew up, went to school, and those kind of things.
I actually grew up in Illinois, the land of Lincoln, and I am one of 7 children, so I came from a very big family. And my father was always interested in the Civil War. And the one year that we took a trip to Florida to visit my great aunt, he took us on on Grant's Sherman's March to the Sea, excuse me. And that hooked me. Ever since then, I've been a fan of this American Civil War and majored in history at the College of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. And then I got married to my husband, who was a sailor, and we moved out to Maryland, and right here in the middle of all of those battles and things that I had read about. And so that's a little bit about me. We've been married 44 years, so we've been out here a long time.
And now you are the president of the society. Well, how did that come about?
Well, in 2006, I had held many different positions on the board of directors since the year of 2003, when we actually became the Society for Women in the Civil War. And we had our conference, and the board members were dwindling off, and we had one board member, Bonnie Mangan, who spearheaded that entire conference because she believed so much in getting the information out about Civil War women. And if we didn't reorganize the board, we would not be in business. And so she canvassed the 4 of us who were there and asked if anyone wanted to be president. And I said, well, I'm retiring in a couple of years. Sure, I'll take it. And so that's how I became the president. And this year, we were elected for 3-year periods. And so my period as president of the board will expire in December. But I've really tried to rejuvenate the society because I think as time goes on, people realize that women were essential to the Civil War. And by that, I mean they either supported it or they didn't support it, or they were just unwilling participants in the Civil War. And as many of the people realized that there were women in the Civil War, our organization has become more important than ever.
Excellent. So tell us about the society. How was it founded, its mission, and some of the activities?
Well, we were actually founded in 1997 when a group of women got together and realized that there was a lot of research going on into women's topics, and yet the only outlet that a woman had for that was to publish a book. And so, and there weren't any education societies or even even Civil War roundtables um, didn't give you an adequate uh, out outlay for getting that information across to people. So they founded what was then called the Conference on Women in the Civil War. And that stayed like that with just the conference, a yearly conference, until 2003. And at that point, we had just we had just gone through 9/11 when no one wanted to um, travel as much. And we said we need a way to get working capital and for presenting our conferences. And so we came up with the membership um, uh, reason for getting the society together then. And except for 2 other years, including this year, we have held our conference annually in July. And in addition to the conference, we offer our members the journal that we publish called At Home and in the Field, which is about 20 to 30 pages worth of information that comes to you via email. And we also publish the calling card, which is a publication that gets you information that is more immediate about the society and the things that we do, as well as um, events that might be of interest.
Sure. So how is the society organized?
We have a standing board which consists of about 9 or 10 members, and then 4 of those hold president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And we then also have several standing committees that assist in things like our authors page, which we promote authors who are members of the society. We also assist prospective authors in how they want to publish. We give them advice on how to publish books, and then give them sort of an initial read of the book to see how it's progressing. We also have the Registry of Women in the Civil War, which consists of about 1,500 names of women who were active in the Civil War as nurses, relief agents, soldiers, and we will be publishing those in the next 3 months probably, along with their ancillary research materials of things like pension records and mentioning in antiquarian books. And so we also have our conference committee, which organizes our conference and allows people to volunteer to work with us. And we have our regents who are locally, or I should say geographically divided across the country and across the world. We now have 2 actual international regions. And each of those regions works locally with our members for certain reasons, if they need help, or they want to contribute, or whatever they need regionally, they contact the region.
Wow. So the society is a 501c3, correct?
Yes.
And you say you have members, and how many members are part of this society?
We have roughly about a little less than 100 members right now. And most of the members come to us through the conference. There's actually a way on the conference registration to sign up to be members. Our member fee is only $25, so it's not an exorbitant amount of money that we're requesting for them. And all members receive a discount on the conference.
All right. So what would you say is the biggest attraction for people to become members of this society?
Well, I would hope it would be being with people who have like interests and who are interested in the roles that women played during the American Civil War. The American Civil War is unique in that it encompasses everyone, even the people who lost the war, as members of America. And so consequently, we have a lot of experiences to pull from for our presentations at the conference and our journal articles.
Right. So I have a friend out in Seattle who said that the Civil War was a national war, and everyone was either involved somehow or following it through their newspapers. Are all of the members women?
No, actually, we have two men on our board of directors, and about 25% of our members are men. We also have a lot of historians who are men who write about women. And so we have a full range of people who are members. We also have young adults who are members and who we hope are being fostered enough to remain members.
Excellent. So personally, what is your favorite story about women or a woman in the Civil War?
Well, I have many. First, I'm also a member of what's called the Maine Camp Hospital Association, which is a relief agency that is consisting of women from Maine. So I have those women who I follow and work on and research. And then I also research the mothers, sisters, lovers, wives of the soldiers who were stationed at Point Lookout, which is close to my home here in Maryland. And so I always say I research everyone else's Civil War history and not my own. But my favorite person is Julia Grant. She is a wonderful person, and I think she represents, coming from a Confederate background, if you will, with her father being definitely on the side of the South, and yet she marries a northerner and is immediately loyal to him all along. And so she raises her children. She lets her son go off with his father. It's just an amazing story that she has on uh, that kind of encompasses every woman that was living at that time.
You know, the first time that I visited Whitehaven, I came away with Julia Grant's book and her memoirs, and I have to agree, she was one incredible lady. So what do your membership numbers look like over the past 5 years? Are they going up? Are they going down? Steady or what?
Actually, our membership is growing quite a bit. We've expanded, especially with our calling card going out to your members. We've increased our membership dramatically, and we've gotten a lot of people who we personally would not have reached had it not been for the outreach that you've done with us. And we have hopes that by the end of this year and or the time of the conference next July to be in the hundreds.
Excellent. So one of the things that you spoke about was revitalizing your board and kind of moving your organization forward. What what kind of advice would you have for our roundtables who are perhaps in a similar situation?
Well, you have to choose your members of your board wisely. You have to have that unique balance of people who are very enthusiastic and yet enough people who will actually do the work of getting the speakers for your or for your uh, meetings. And um, I would also recommend that you keep your boards on a rotating basis of about 3 years. That gives you enough time to establish everyone knows who your president is and can come to them, you know, frequently, and they know who the treasurer is. But to also get new people onto the board. The one thing that has happened with us is that we have people who've been on the board for many years, but we have managed to bring in new board members, and they have different ideas, just like this Zoom conference, you know, and um, that seems to balance the organization. If you just have a president and you keep them for 20 years, that's not really helpful to anybody.
Sounds like sage advice. So you talked about your annual conference. Can you tell us about what's coming up in 2021?
Yes, in 2020, we made the decision to postpone our conference and to move it to 2021. And that conference is going to be in Harrisonburg, Virginia, the 23rd to the 25th of July of 2021. And we will have all the same speakers and all the same field trips. We're going to Cedar Creek Battlefield, um, or I should say Belle Grove Plantation, because that's the civilian side of that battle location. And the Mennonite Heritage Center, we're all going to visit. And we have Jonathan Noyales, who's going to be our keynote speaker about a woman who was a spy for the Union. And we also have a speaker who is going to speak on the women in Stonewall Jackson's life. And so we have a varied amount of activities that we will be hosting, and they will all be at the conference center there in Harrisonburg.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot. What is your favorite memory of a past conference?
For years, I worked as their technical advisor. I happened to work for Northrop Grumman, who was very into different computer activities. So I have been to every conference since 1997, and it's very difficult to pick out one particular conference. But I would say that I have presented at 2 conferences, and so those would probably be my favorite conferences. And the first one was in 1999 when I presented a lecture called "If They Would Have Wanted You to Have a Gun, They Would Have Issued You with Your Rifle." And that compared Julia Grant and Mrs. Mary Lee and Mariana Jackson and Myra Hancock. So that was a very interesting conference, and really prepared me for how much research the presenters have to do.
Boy, yeah. Preparing a lecture like that probably really made you dig deep into a lot of different areas. So what other activities aside from the conference is the society involved with?
Well, we have several different projects that we are working on. First of all, let me say we give a scholarship. We actually give 2 scholarships to students. One is a high school student and the other is a college student for books and things. They're not real expensive. They primarily depend on our donations that we have coming in for it. But that helps to get us involved in with the younger people. And then we also have a project where we are trying to work with people up in Gettysburg to host a location for a monument to the workers and the civilians that were there in Gettysburg. And if you know where the hospital was, it's up on Route 30. That's where we hope to post this monument. And then in addition, we're working very diligently on the the registry, and with our authors, of course.
Ah, very good. So you must be talking about Camp Letterman out there on the,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
So, you know, the Congress has been urging roundtables to partner with other history organizations. Is there a partnership opportunity between roundtables and the society?
That would be very nice to have. Previously, what we've done for this coming conference is we're partnering with the Shenandoah Battlefield um, Association, and as a partner, we hope to be able to disperse our information that we're having the conference. But we certainly would welcome any um, roundtable that would like to partner with us. And we kind of have to have boots on the ground in a city before we host a conference there. And so any city, I mean, we're willing to go west as far as California if we have to, um, for our conference, but we definitely need to have boots on the ground. So if that's the case, a Civil War roundtable would be certainly welcome to help us with that. And then once we hit that location for our conference, there are an awful lot of volunteer positions that we could fill with members, that's for sure.
All right. Yeah, I'm sure that Janet Whaley would love to have you out there in Pasadena.
Yes, yes, she would.
So,
And we're growing our membership out there with Janet as a and our regents. So we're happy to go west. The furthest west we've ever been is to Tennessee. We were in Nashville for one conference, and that was very interesting.
so Susan, what else would you like our audience to know?
Well, I would like them to realize that we are here, we're available, we've been in existence and giving conferences for over 20 years. We have a lot of information and research possibilities. Um, and this year, since we haven't had our conference, we've really been focusing on our other projects to pick up. And um, come join us. We welcome anyone and any um, uh, type of person. Um, I would say we probably have to call it off at like 10 years old and above only. But I think that there are women out there who have an interest in the Civil War. You don't have to be a historian. You don't have to be a reenactor. You don't have to be any of those things to join us. Just come and be interested.
So if folks are interested in becoming members, I'm sure that they can find the membership page on swcw.org. And as you said, the annual conference is next July 24th through 26th in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And by the way, Harrisonburg is in the Shenandoah Valley, if you really don't know.
Yeah, it's about less than 2 hours from the major airports of Dulles and Reagan National. So, and even BWI is just a little bit beyond that.
Excellent. Well, Susan, thank you very much for joining us and telling us about your great organization. And we certainly hope you a great deal of success.
Great, thanks.